a veteran. I'm a country boy who loves his connection with the nature. I'm an avid hunter, fisherman, and survivalist. These woods, rivers, and lakes are my playground, and I want them to be here for my kids and my grandkids to play with in the future. Let me talk to you about my past and how I came to this point. I worked for DK Security back in 2010 and was assigned to the oil cleanups project and was already on its way. My first duty station was out at the tank farm, and for those of you who don't know what that is, tank farm was located where all the oil and soil and the water was, they removed the oil from that. They also took the sheen out of that. Right off the bat, I knew there was no professionalism with the crew that had hired to clean up this mess. Safeties, which were Enbridge employees, and contractors managing the night crew out at the tank farm were acting like children with their parents not around. They sexually harassed the women's security guards. I had one that actually came up to me and was in tears because of, some of the things they were saying to her. And the other guys, they were making sexual comments towards them too, calling them, homosexuals and things like that. They attempted to make the same statements to me, started harassing me, and I wasn't going to have that. I immediately reported them to my supervisor, Jim, who was working at the supervisor for DK Security at the time, and made a detailed log of the activities that went on that night. The very next day, I checked to see if anything was being done about the harassment allegations, to see if Jim, my supervisor, had read this report. He informed me that the report logs on my shift were missing, and nothing was happening about the harassment. That was the last time I was out at the tank farm. The next spring, I was called back to work the oil spill sites. Not long after being back on the site, I got notification about a person, John, who was not allowed to be on any sites. They had put pictures of each logbook of John and photos of his vehicle. They posted a list of numbers to call, including the police. They told me stories about John that would make any man hate him. So I already wanted to be the first one to put my foot in his rear end. I also had a business of my own while moonlighting as a security officer. I ran a computer company called Mercomp. My business was attached to a building that ran a flea market, and that's where I first met John out of Battle Creek. John was selling items out of the flea market to make ends meet. At the same time, he was handing out information brochures about the oil spill cover-up. I decided not to stomp him in the head and listen to what he had to say before making my move. Something about John, truthfully, I think it was his sincerity and honesty that got me to change my mind about the whole head-stomping thing. John immediately told me about his past, why he was doing what he was doing. At this point, I said nothing to John about the fact that I was his arch enemy, and I was just listening and took mental notes. And then, as I usually do research on the internet by myself. I found out that DK Security and Enbridge were lying to me this entire time. I came clean to John a few days later, and we became good friends. I had gone on a few fact-finding missions with John sometime in the fall. I helped him uncover a few spots Enbridge said was clean, and the EPA said it was cleared. We found alarming evidence that very little was actually getting clean. I was very concerned about John's safety and mine, so I made it a point that John keep me a secret. John kept his word to even when the courts and a past friend, which was a DK rep, begged John for my name. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the night that I found the information. One night at the main gate of headquarters, I saw a photo of John, his vehicle, and a very long list of people to call in case we saw him. And it was laminated on the main security wall at the main headquarters. I immediately took a photo of it with my phone and texted John with this information. I never knew how much this would hurt Enbridge or help John until a few weeks later. The entire DK staff was called in to be interrogated. They never figured out who the mole was. They would never either consider that I had been training in the military for such thing. John was being called by DK in order to get my name. His lawyers asked for my name, and still John didn't give me up. That is why I'm up here today to tell you I know from experience that John is a man with integrity and honor. This is something you learn, not born with. John, like me, served with this country with honor. He was taught what integrity, selfless service, and honor really meant. John has spent countless hours exposing Enbridge corruption. He has gone all over this continent speaking up about the corruption and lies these oil companies are feeding their people. He could have sued and quit with the money he had made, but he didn't. John put his own hard-earned money back into the exposing the oil companies. He sold off all his things to get the word out. He could have quit when he was broke, but John scraped up what he could find and pushed forward. He could have left the work immediately. He could have let the workers intimidate him, but he kept on pushing for answers. Now, if that is integrity and selfless service, then I don't know what is. His dedication to this community, to the state of Michigan, and to the nation is proof of his selfless service. Ladies and gentlemen, John is a true red-blooded patriot who loves this country and his people in it. I am proud to call John my brother and my friend. Today, when you walk with John on the doorsteps of these leaders in our community, be proud with yourself, knowing you are walking with a man who would do anything and everything for his fellow man. Thank you, John, and thank you for all being here supporting John.
Wow. He read that to me earlier. I'd probably be crying right now. I was pretty choked up before. This guy hated me at first. I love that. I love the fact that somebody that thinks I'm a liar and thinks that everything I'm doing is fake, I prove them wrong. And they work for those companies. And then now they sneak me information. I have workers all the time coming to me, telling me things that they're not supposed to, but I keep their name secret because my community is more important than getting them fired. But I still need that information, but I still protect them. I'm trying to play both sides of I'm trying to do the right thing here for both of them.